Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. And just like I promised from last week, I am picking up where I left off. So here we go. I am reviewing another Cam'ron album. This one is called Come Home With Me. Now this one is Cam'ron's third studio album. Now if you recall from last week when I reviewed his first album, which was called Confessions of Fire, he came out with, by himself that is, he came out with 6 albums. He supposed to come out with Purple Haze 2 sometime this year. And I heard every Cam'ron album there is with the exception of his last one, which is called Crime Pays, and his second one, SDE. But to me, it didn't matter to me because his two best albums are Confessions of Fire and this one, Come Home With Me. Purple Haze was really good as well. Killer Season was straight, but it was, for me, Confessions of Fire and Come Home With Me. And then, in addition, third, Purple Haze. Now, getting back to Come Home With Me, like I said last week, Confessions of Fire had more classics. Come Home With Me had more fire. So let's get straight into it. So this album came out May 14th of the year 2002. So at this point, I was about to graduate high school. So, I was like a month away from that or whatever, if I didn't graduate in May of that year. But anywho, it came out on the Roc-A-Fella Records, Diplomat Records, and Def Jam Recordings. Now, this album also served as a introduction of the Cam'ron's fronted rap group, the Diplomats, to the general public. There are featured guest appearances from the Diplomats, DJ K-Slay, Daz Dillinger, Tiffany, Jay-Z himself, McGrubb, Memphis Bleek, and Beanie Siegel. To date, this album is his most commercially successful album. It had debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 with first week sales of 226,000 copies and eventually sold over 1 million copies, being certified platinum by the RIAA. Its two hits were Old Boy featuring Juelz Santana and Hey Ma featuring, you guessed it, Juelz Santana, but also Freaky Zeke and DJ K-Slay. Old Boy had held the number 1 spot on the hip hop R&B slash hip hop singles for 5 weeks straight. It also had the number 1 spot on the hot rap tracks and peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. The second hit was Hey Ma, which reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 8 on the UK single chart, becoming his biggest hit. Daydreaming was a later single released in 2003. It failed to reach as much success as his earliest singles, however, which is kind of messed up. Now this took about like a year for it to be recorded and completed or whatever. So the producers here was obviously Jay-Z as executive producer, Dame Daz as another one, and of course Kareem Biggs Burke. Obviously this is Roc-A-Fella. Also, the other producers involved were Ty Fifey, how you pronounce that, whatever? Just Blaze, Precision, Leland Robinson, Mike T, Ray Ralkins, how you pronounce this? Arsonis, I guess. DR Period, Mafia Boy, Nick Rusher, Kanye West, and BPM. Let me see. Am I forgetting anybody else? No, that's everybody. Okay. Now, there are a grand total of 15 tracks in this album. And this one really pains me. Unfortunately, I can only give you a top 3. Why? Let me name the tracks. The first track, Intro. That's right. That is the exact reason why. And it's featured DJ K-Slay. And even though this one's 2 minutes and 44 minutes long, 2 minutes and 44 seconds long, excuse me, and the beat is out cold in this intro track, Cam'ron don't spit any bars. He don't rap. He don't perform. He just constantly talking or whatever. So it's like a skit. And you know my rule, if it's 15 tracks or more, I can give y'all top 5. Otherwise, it's a top 3. And this one pains me because there is a lot of great tracks in this album. And speaking of which, let's get on to track number 2. Losing Rate Part 2 featuring Juelz Santana. Ooh, Just Blaze went off on this beat as he did on track number 3. Old Boy featuring, you guessed it, Joel Santana. Man, I'll get more on those 2 tracks in a second. The 4th track is Live My Life, Leave Me Alone featuring Daz Dillinger, with Precision being the producer for that one. And then we got Daydreaming featuring Tiffany Carlin rather. And that was the 3rd single actually. After that we got, ironically, the name of the album being the name of track number 6 called Come Home With Me. And it features Jim Jones and, you guessed it, Joel Santana. Then we get to track number 7. Track number 7, which is called Welcome to New York City featuring Jay-Z himself. And you guessed it, Joel Santana. And this one produced by Just Blaze, obviously. Ooh, another fight. Then we get to the 2nd single, track number 8, Hey Ma featuring DJ K Slade. And you guessed it, Joel Santana, Freaky Zeke, and here's one that wasn't mentioned earlier in the introduction, and Toya. So there you go with that. Now the next track is called On Fire Tonight featuring Freaky Zeke. And that track was funny because it have a very funny skit at the beginning. It's really funny. It's really fun. I ain't gonna spoil it, so you gotta check that out yourself. Track number 10 is called Stop Calling, and it's featured, you guessed it, but not Joel's, Freaky Zeke and McGruff. And actually, Stop Calling have a skit at the beginning of this track as well. Then we get to track number 11 called I Just Wanna, and it features, you guessed it, not Freaky, Joel Santana. And then we get to track number 12, the only track in this whole album produced by Kanye West, Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive, whoa, Dead or Alive, featuring Jim Jones. Then we get to, oh my gosh, track number 13. And like, Just Blaze, he lost his damn mind with this one. This one's called The Rock, Just Fire, featuring Beanie Sigel and Memphis Bleak. Then we get to track number 14 called Boy Boy, followed by the last track, which is called Tomorrow. Now, let me get more info on the singles. Starting with Oh Boy. The first single, obviously this was a Grammy nominated single, by the way. Came out April 2nd of 2002, even though it was recorded in 2001. Now the song samples I'm Going Down by Rolls Royce. I didn't even know that. And as I mentioned, it held the number 1 spot in the Hot R&B / Hip Hop Singles for 5 weeks straight. It also held the number 1 spot in the Hip Hop Rap Tracks. It peaked at number 4, on the Billboard Hot 100. It was produced. Now here's a little bit of history. I didn't even know this part. The song is produced by Just Blaze, obviously, who originally made it for Memphis Bleak. So that's new to me. It is ranked 89th on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of Hip Hop. And there's VH1's misdefinition of what hip hop is, but that's another story for another day. Now, and then of course there was a music video for this track, and obviously the video was filmed in Harlem and featured cameo appearances from Dame Dash, Lala Anthony, I don't know who that is, Angie Martinez, Free, and Huddy Six. And I believe Rasheed Wallace was in this joint as well. Moving on, then obviously there are some remixes for this one. Obviously there's and I heard this one called Old Girl, which is an Old Boy remix. That one featured Birdman, TQ, and Jim Jones. Jay-Z was also to be on the remix, but his verse was removed by Cameron due to the verse containing this to Jay-Z's then rival Nas. Now, moving on, Mariah Carey recorded and released an answer song to Old Boy in 2002 for her 9th album, Charm Bracelet, called Boy, I Need You. Now, the song is sometimes referred to as Old Boy Part 2 and also features samples from I'm Going Down by Rolls Royce. And Cameron is also in that song, by the way. Oh, now this part I did not know. The remix version of that song also features Cameron, and you guessed it, Joel Santana, but also Jim Jones and Freeway. It was referred to as Old Boy Part 3. It is the second official remix of Old Boy. And the song and the remix version were also produced by, you guessed it, Just Blaze. And of course, Lil Wayne freestyle over the instrumental on his 2002 mixtape, Scribe Up, the Scribe Up joint. Now, obviously, I heard that one. So yeah, Old Boy, that was a hot single, though. You need to check that out. As far as more charts, it also reached the top 40 mainstream at number 24 and the top 40 tracks at number 19. So there you go with that. Now let's go on to the second single, which is called Hey Ma. Now this one came out August 6, 2002. It was recorded in 2001, and this one was produced by the Toonheads, who used a sample of the Commodore's 1977 hit Easy. Now, Hey Ma was also as successful as Old Boy. I think Old Boy was out there a much better single and a much better track. Now there is a remix for this song which features, you guessed it, Jarrell Santana and Toya, and the remix was produced by DR Period and Mafia Boy, and it can be found on the Diplomat's first album, Diplomatic Immunity. Now regarding the charts, I think I covered some of them already. It was number 3 in the Billboard Hot 100, number 7 on the Billboard Hot R&B/Hip Hop Singles and Tracks, and number 4 on the Billboard Hot Rap Singles. Now on the Billboard Rhythmic Top 40 was number 2, and then the Billboard Top 40 Mainstream was number 6. Now by the end of 2002, it was 53rd on the Hot 100, 57 on the Hot R&B/Hip Hop Singles and Tracks, and 20th on the Hot Rap Singles. And this song was featured in the 2012 film In the Roc, and also can be heard on In Lord of the Bling, which is an episode of the television series Veronica Mars. I have not heard of either one of those. So yeah, there you go with that. Now, moving on to Daydreaming, which is officially the 3rd single off of this album, but wasn't as successful. I'll get more on the actual track in a second. That one came out sometime in 2002, and it only made it 67th in the US R&B charts. Now, let me give y'all some more charts. Let me go back to Old Boy. Old Boy was 70th in Germany. New Zealand, it was 50th, and the UK was 13th. Now, as far as Hey Ma, it was 29th in Australia, 55th in France, 58th in Germany, 12th in Ireland, 15th in New Zealand, 81st in Switzerland, and 8th in the UK. And that song really went global. In fact, that was Cameron's most global track out of all, single. Out of all the singles he did, that one right there. Or that he did by himself, right? Moving on. Now let me get on to my favorite tracks off of this album, starting from the bottom up. Now, Tomorrow, I actually heard a little bit more Tomorrow, because when I first heard the beginning of Tomorrow, I'm like, But then when I actually started listening to him, I'm like, actually, this ain't bad. The next one is I Just Wonder featuring Jarrell Santana. That one's pretty good. Hey Ma, obviously. Boy was good as well. And then of course, On Fire Tonight. That one was dark, man. The beat sounds dark, so that one was nice right there. Live My Life, Leave Me Alone. That one's nice as well. And then of course, Dead or Alive. I mean, Kanye did the beat. Leave them dead or alive. Whoa, that joint is out cold. Now here's some of my favorite tracks off of this album. Stop Calling was out cold. Come Home With Me is out cold. Daydreaming is deep as heck. I cannot believe, well, I'll say this. As a single, that is not a good choice. I probably would have went with Losing Rate, The Roc Just Fire, or Welcome to New York City. And that one actually got his own page, and I'll explore that in a minute. Or even, or even Come Home With Me. Or even really, or Dead or Alive, really. But not Daydreaming. Even though Daydreaming is an out cold track, anytime I hear that track, it's another one of those tracks where I would stop wherever it is I do it and just chill, mellow out, and relax. Now, moving on from Daydreaming, and this is right. If I would have done a top 5, Daydreaming would have been number 5, and then this one would have been number 4. And this one was tough because I thought this one going to be my top 3, but it's not. And it's Welcome to New York City, featuring Jay-Z and Jarrell Santana. Now, again, that one was produced by Just Blaze. And this was also the theme song for the 2005 popular crime video game, True Crime New York City. I did not know that. And it also made some charts. So this song peaked at 55th at the Hot R&B/Hip Hop Singles and Tracks. So that's news to me. So yeah, there you go with that. So the New York City song actually got some singles fame, I guess, whatever. So that's number 4 right there. Now let's get to my top 3. Number 3, and this one was tough. 1, 2, 3 was tough. I had to think about it. I had to listen to each one of these tracks and which one left the best impression to me. So, number 3, Losing Rate Part 2 featuring, you guessed it, Juelz Santana. The beat is out cold. If you would have heard this joint, you would have thought, and ironically, now that I look at it, before I get more into Losing Rate Part 2, I heard Part 1, Part 2 is much better. Like, Part 1 obviously was good, because it also featured Prodigy and Mobb Deep, and that was on the SDE album. But Part 2 is fire. But like I was about to say, notice that my top 4, all of the tracks are produced by Just Blaze. All of them. I ain't gonna reveal the other 2 yet. Daydream was not produced by Just Blaze. So yeah, there you go with that. Just something to and really, now that I think about it, I'm just rambling on. But now that I think about it, as I'm looking at the track listings, 1, 2, 3. Just Blaze only produced 4 tracks, and these are the 4 best tracks on the entire album. So that's saying something, man. Just Blaze is no joke. Now let's get back to the 3rd best track off this whole album, which is again Losing Rate Part 2. If you would have heard this beat, you will be thinking Goldust, his theme song. It sounds similar to that, and that's a dope thing. But when you hear this, it is fire, man. Woo, that beat, man. The only thing that I did not like about it is it's a little, just like other Cameron tracks in this album, there's a little skit at the beginning. I'm like, can we do away with the skit and just get to the intro of this beat? Cause that is dope. And then when the beat dropped and he started rapping, again, dope as heck. Out cold. Number 2, and then, again, this was tough. Oh Boy, featuring Juelz Santana, the main single off this album. That single, this is one of the greatest singles ever. Remember, last week I said Horse and Carriage was one of Cameron's best singles. I'm not sure if I said if it was his best. This one his best. Oh Boy, that is his best single ever. It's even better than Horse and Carriage. And that joint is dope. Horse and Carriage is dope as heck. But Oh Boy, when he came out with Oh Boy, ooh, that joint was fire. The remixes, the Mariah Carey version, that scrawled up version by Reezy, all of it is fire because that beat is out cold. Man, I can just hear it now. Boy, oh boy, that joint is out cold, It's really is, but it's only number 2 on this list. It's the 2nd best track off this whole album. But number 1 is just fire. It really is. Because it is The Roc, Just Fire, featuring Benny Singer, Memphis Bleek. When you hear that beat drop, dog, and then bleep, and oh my gosh, dog, that track is out cold. Man, I'm getting hyped. I'm gonna listen to this whole album again. That's how hyped this album is, man. And that track, The Roc, Just Fire. Man, I'm tripping over the 3rd best track off the whole album. This is the best, man. There's no words to describe how out cold, how fire this track is. No pun intended. But it's just out cold. That's all I gotta say. It's just out cold. Like I said, Just Blaze lost his damn mind when he produced these 4 tracks for this album, dog. Cause there's the top 4 tracks off of this entire album. It really is, man. It really is. He lost his damn mind on this joint. Now, with that out the way, and I'm trying to regain some type of sanity back. Okay, so let me give y'all the professional ratings. AllMusic gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Rap Reviews gave it a 7 out of 10 stars. Vibe gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And Rolling Stones lost their damn minds and giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. Now, obviously, this is a 5 out of freaking 5. This is an album you need to go out, buy a physical copy, and have it in your damn collection. This album is out cold. I am not stressing that out. Now, which brings me to the question of, is this Cameron's best album? So remember, Confessions of Fire, that joint is out cold as well. And it's a tough one. It really is. So I have to compare. Is Come Home With Me better than Confessions of Fire? Because again, Come Home With Me got more, ironically, more fire, but Confessions of Fire got the classics. The tracks. It is all kind of funny to me. So I'm looking at Confession of Fire with their tracks, and I'm seeing Horses and Carriage, Prophecy, D-Rugs, Who's Nice, and yeah, really, it's really those four. It's really those four. That's are, to me, they're classics to me. So Horses and Carriage, yeah. It's those four. Those four right there are classics. And then there's a lot of good tracks on here. The one that held it back was that Shanghai, in my opinion. That one held it back a bit. Then we look at Come Home With Me, and you got the 4 tracks done by Just Blaze: Losing Ray Part 2, Old Boy, Welcome to New York City, The Rock, Just Fire. Then you got Dead or Alive, you got Come Home With Me, you got Daydreaming, and these are all like very good tracks, fire tracks, and some of them classic, like that Rock Just Fire track. That's a classic. Old Boy, that's one of the best singles ever. That is Cameron's best singles ever. Losing Ray Part 2, that's you know what? I decided. Come Home With Me is Cameron's best album. It really is. So there you go with that. So yeah, man, y'all know who this is. This is the new Jay Gatsby, and don't forget, I will be live streaming tomorrow. The Path to the Finals begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't miss it. Twitch.tv/true, no E, _Inferno. So yeah, there you go. Do not miss that. Yo, so anywho, man, this is the new Jay Gatsby, aka Mr. Smash Adams, saying peace out, y'all, and see y'all next time. Oh, where's that album? I'm about to listen to it again.